This week I trained less on purpose, and I want to talk about the part of fitness that nobody films: recovery. Because here's the truth most people miss: you don't get stronger when you train, you get stronger when you recover from it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to this week's video. This video is gonna be a special one because we're gonna have a very special guest at the end of the video. So if you wanna see that, stay all the way. I promise it's gonna be good. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. This was a deload week, and that doesn't mean I stopped. It means I pulled the volume back on purpose. I ran about 22 kilometers instead of my usual 30 to 35 range. And I cut my gym sessions from 4 to just 2. The intensity though was kept the same. Volume was just reduced a little bit. A deload is a planned lighter week that lets your body catch up and actually absorb all the work you've been putting in. Skip it for too long and you might get injured, you won't get fitter, and you might burn out. So since this was a recovery week, I want to walk you through how I actually recover from most important to the least important. And I'll give you a little bit of science behind each one of those. So number one, and it's not even close, sleep. Boring. Sleep is where the magic actually happens though. When you train, you're basically breaking your body down. And when you sleep, especially deep sleep, your body releases growth hormones, rebuilds the muscle you tore up, refills your energy stores, and resets your nervous system. You don't adapt to training in the gym. You adapt in your bed. Cut your sleep short and you blunt all of it. Slower recovery, worse mood, high stress, more injuries. I aim for 7 to 9 hours and I protect it like a training session because it is actually a training session. Number 2, nutrition. Food is the raw material your body rebuilds with. Think of it like this. You wouldn't put cheap, dirty fuel into a Ferrari and expect it to perform. Your body works the same way. If you train like an athlete but eat like shit, you literally can't rebuild what you just broke down. Protein to repair muscle, carbs to refill the tank, and enough total food to actually recover. And the part of nutrition people sleep on, hydration. And specifically, sodium. Water alone isn't enough. When you sweat, you lose electrolytes, and sodium is the big one. Sodium helps your body hold onto water, keeps your blood volume up, and lets your nerves and muscles fire properly. Run low on it, and you'll cramp, fatigue early, and just feel flat in general. So, especially around hard training, I'm not just drinking water. I'm replacing what I sweat out with electrolytes, with salt, and water. Number 3, the accessories. These are not very important, but if you stack them, they compound. First, foam rolling and mobility. The point isn't to break up knots. It's to drive blood flow into the muscle and signal your nervous system that you can actually relax. You end up less stiff, less sore, and moving better the next day. Then, heat. I love a hot tub. Heat opens up your blood vessels, so more blood flows into the muscles you worked, and that delivers oxygen and nutrients, flushes out the waste, and relaxes everything. I'll be honest, I skip the cold plunges. I'm a little bit of a wuss when it comes to cold, but for hard training recovery, the hot tub gets the job done for me. And last but not least, breathwork. This one is actually underrated. Slow, deep breathing flips your nervous system out of fight or flight mode into recovery mode. It drops your heart rate, lowers your stress hormones, and tells your body basically that we're safe now, so you can recover, you can start rebuilding. Better breathing, better blood flow, better sleep. It's free and it works for everyone. Anyways, we've had enough of that. Let's go now to our special guest for this week's video. So today's guest competed shoulder to shoulder with me on the same side of the tennis court. Graduated with a major in finance, insurance, and law, and currently working in Atlanta as a financial consultant. From Evansville, Indiana, Caden Scarlett. Caden, thank you for having us, for being here with us. I know you're a busy person, but I promise I will keep it short.
Oh, good, man. I carved it all out for you, so not much going on.
A little bit of context for the audience. The idea for Caden to be here was actually his, and I found it to be extremely amazing because he's going through a transition in life that is basically the same as the one that I'm going through, from the university to the real world. And it is the first thing that I want to touch on, Caden. How has the transition been going from student to the workforce and basically living by yourself in a different city?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first 4 or 5 days were pure excitement. I was so happy to get out of the house. I'm from a small town, southern Indiana, so I moved to a big city. I'm down here in Atlanta now, living downtown. So definitely a big change of pace, which I was excited for at the start. As it kind of went on, probably after that first week, I started kind of looking at myself and I was like, I don't really know anybody here. It's kind of hard. I don't really have too much going on. Like, all I do is kind of work. That started to get tough. I started to miss my friends. Obviously, we lived together for a good amount of years. So moving out from an apartment of 4 people for 3 years started to really kind of take its toll over, like, kind of coming home and it's just you and yourself. And also just no family around. So it was a little rocky, and then you start to get in the rhythm and the routine, and it starts to even itself out.
Great to hear that everything is kind of like going better than at the start. Of course, the start is a little bit hard to get used to it and everything, but getting into rhythm is a very good thing. But let me touch a little bit further into that. Was this transition like chaotic at first, like stressful, disorganized, like anything close to burnout through these couple of weeks or months?
Yeah. I mean, of course, anytime you do something new, you're super excited at the start. For an example, somebody might start going to the gym. They're super happy. They go out, they buy a ton of new clothes. They're so excited they're going to go to the gym before work at 5 a.m. And then they go to the gym 3 or 4 days at 5 a.m. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. So that was definitely a big adjustment on that point. But again, like, it started to burn out and I was like, is this really for me? Is this what I want to do? And then I really kind of went to a manager and started sitting down and I was like, look, like, and they just kind of explained it as, when you first start here, it's like drinking water out of a fire hose. And it's a lot. It's big change. I mean, this is my second job technically, but my other job was a part-time internship. Lost, dude. Like, I feel like I have so much going on. I don't know what to do. I don't really have anything in place. I don't know how this works. Obviously I know what I'm doing, but what am I supposed to be doing in between what I'm doing in order to achieve the success and maybe make it a little bit easier on myself?
Well, thank you for opening up that much. Not a lot of people are so honest about this transition, and it is actually interesting because it is actually something that I'm going through as well with my internship, like transitioning from being like a student athlete, moving throughout the day, like all the time, waking up at 5, training, classes, then training again, going from that to sitting down in an office from 9 to 5 is something very, very hard, and it's an adjustment, especially for us. So I think it is amazing that you open up about this and that I'm not the only one going through it. But going to the next question, what challenges came with building a client base in the new job? Because I know you're kind of like getting your earnings through the amount of clients that you get, if I'm not mistaken. And what from the content that I've been posting has actually helped you with that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you're big on the life coaching kind of side of it, kind of getting your system and your processes down and adapting it to your life and how that would work. So I would, again, like I was saying, when I sat down, the first thing I started with was a calendar. That was the first thing. It's like, let me get down my whole day. What do I have to do? When am I going to bed? When am I sleeping? When am I waking up? What am I going to make for breakfast? And started like genuinely just chunking my day down piece by piece. And then seeing, because our workplace, we have this thing where it's called, there should be no white space in the calendar. Everything should be booked out, even when you're at home, whether it's, this is when I'm going to cook dinner. This is when I'm going to do professional development and read. So I sat down and, of course, you know me, I've never built a calendar. So let me tell you, there was a lot of white space in that calendar. And so I started looking, and of course, at the start, I was like, man, I feel so busy. I'm so busy. And then I sit here and I sit down and I tell somebody I'm so busy. And then I look at my calendar and there's not anything going on. So then it's kind of like completely contradictory a little bit. And I'm like, shoot, I'm here at work 7 to 7 and my calendar shows that I work like 3 hours out of the day in that. So, you know, I mean, obviously it's mainly a commission job about how many clients you bring in, and the way you bring in clients is you have to talk to them. So we kind of have to call people here and there, whether it's clients at a firm or at a company that we already have clients with that we're servicing that are similar, or whether it's maybe just an outreach call to somebody else at a company that nobody's spoken to yet.
That's awesome. That's great that structuring your day has been helpful with the chaos that comes with the workforce, basically.
Yes.
And that is very, very good. But a little bit more for like the audience perspective, for someone who hears all this, all your experience with structuring your day and all that kind of stuff, but they say, sounds good, but it just won't work for me. What would you say to them?
I would say I was in a similar boat. As you know me. In college, I kind of flew by the wind a little bit and didn't have a ton of structure. I just kind of had open space, and then I'd be like, yeah, this is a good time to do this, or okay, sure, I'll start to do this. One of the managers in the office, he said this quote, and it was, schedule your priorities, don't prioritize your schedule.
Okay, that's interesting.
So basically the way to interpret that, I mean, for me, is how I took it is that don't let what you have to do dictate how your day is going to run. What you need to do is identify what you got to do and then schedule it. So that way it's on there, you find out, and then you kind of dictate how your day goes and how you move a little more.
That's very deep, Caden. And thank you for that. All of these questions, all of your answers have been very, very inspiring. Comparing yourself from school to now, even in just a short amount of time, I think you have grown so much mentally, and I think you're surrounding yourself with the right people. You mentioned them a lot with quotes, with things they say and all that kind of stuff, and that clearly shows how it resonates with you, and it resonates with me, it resonates with hopefully all the audience. So thank you very much for your time. I know you're a very busy person, but it was great. It's gonna be great for me. It's gonna be great for the people. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm not that busy. I've learned that through my system that I'm not that busy.
Hope you guys enjoyed Caden's interview. I hope it inspired you. It did inspire me mostly because I know him and I've experienced 4 college years alongside with him, and I know that he struggled with structure and all of that. But now that I listen to him, I can see that he has grown a lot, and I can see that he's been around the right people. So I hope that this inspires you to believe that you can fight chaos and you can build a structured life. That is it for this week. A lighter week, but maybe the most important kind. I felt like I didn't do anything, but that is the point of a Deload week. Because rest isn't a break from work. It's part of the work. Take care of your recovery. Don't feel guilty for needing it. And as always, I'll see you next Sunday.